I'm going to make a presentation on district fund flow, but starting with two major caveats, saying that whatever I'm saying, this is going to be a presentation on Karnataka state. Okay, I would say that Karnataka is not a very typically representative state to talk about this, basically because of the fact that it's one of the general category states where it's predominantly treasury funded health sector scheme that we have in the state as such. And NRHM is, of course, growing over a period of time, but still a very, very small share as compared to the treasury funding which the health sector gets in the state. And second important caveat is, whatever results I've got from Karnataka state looking into two backward districts, Gulbarga and Chitradurga, again, even when you talk about the backwardness in this particular state, Karnataka, compared by any standard, is one of the fiscally sound states in terms of the fiscal indicators that we have, and a very proactive state which really translates most of the policies into reforms. And so lots of activities or lots of reforms have taken place. Despite that, we still have some problems. So what I'm basically trying to say is Karnataka, a state which is much more advanced in terms of fiscal proactiveness, has some of these problems. Maybe one could really estimate what kind of the magnitude of problem that would be there in other states as such. That's why basically I said Karnataka may not be a typical representative state to talk about these problems. Nevertheless, I'll try to sort of highlight some of the weaknesses that we have in terms of district fund flow as such. Again, I think a lot has been said about the health sector funding and the way the health sector is crying for more funds in the country. We have hardly 1% of the GDP which is going into the health sector. Karnataka, again, with all the fiscally sound status that we have had a situation where the health sector funding was on the decline during the whole of last decade. But now, fortunately, during the last 3-4 years, we are back on the track, still accounting only for about 0.9 to 1% of GSDP of the state. Again, I would like to sort of caution about the fact that the type of rapid growth that we have had in Karnataka state in terms of the rate of growth of the economy, the shortfall that we had during the recent global recession resulted in absolute decline in the state's public sector funding as such. That's something which is very, very unusual to happen, given the fact that what we follow is a kind of incremental based budgeting. Okay, I think Gautam was partly referring to that. And then I think Gautam has already set the tone when we had talked about increased NRHM allocations and all that. I'm not really going into the methodology and issues like that because we have very short time at our disposal. All that I want to say is that this is a focus on two districts in Karnataka. So what is it that I'm doing? I'm basically looking at, even before I talk about district level funding, what is happening to NRHM funding, what's happening to our need-based planning, okay? Then the second issue that I would be addressing is district level fund distribution under NRHM, Karnataka case. What happens to fund flows in select districts, and what happens to fund decentralization, and which are the major cost drivers as such. And an important issue that has been bothering the translation of outlays into outcomes is an issue of fund predictability. What's happening to fund predictability, or the issues relating to bunching of expenditure as such, and what are the issues of concern, again summarizing them, and policy intervention. So basically what I'm trying to do is, as I present some of the data details, I will also raise some of the issues into the the areas that are of concern. Here is a chart basically where I'm trying to sort of show what is happening to the planning, release and expenditure. This is again a very well-known fact and everybody has talked about it. And yesterday also in one of the presentations, there was a discussion, why should we be planning for more resources? Why can't we use the resources that we have in a more optimal manner? A point that was made in the inaugural address also by our chairman today. And a very, very important issue. But then I would really appreciate the initiative that has been taken up by the NRHM initiative, where we are not really strictly, at least theoretically speaking, we are not looking at an incremental based budgeting. We are looking at planning, looking at the local needs, and trying to arrive at what are the financial resources required for each region as such. So what is happening to this planning? How well this is getting translated in terms of the financial allocation of resources and further on expenditure. I'm sorry, this particular table is only up to 2007-8. I'm sure there are some link tables which I have presented. Unfortunately, the link is not being created here. That I think when you go back, it will be uploaded on the website and you can take a look at some of these link tables which I have provided. But what you find is year on year, although we know that the blue bars represent the PIP, red the allocation and the expenditure, there's quite a bit of variation between among the three of them. Despite that, what we happen to do is go on sort of allocating more resources under the PIP. I would agree with the point that was made in the earlier session. What we should be really looking at is not an increased allocation of resources, but an optimal utilization of the resources, giving sort of, accommodating the needs and priorities of the region. Is it really happening? An important issue that I would just simply flag, I'm sure Gautam and other senior government officers who are here know very well about that. The planning that happens doesn't really take into account the inputs or the outputs that are happening at the, during the course of the year due to various problems of fetching the data and things like that. So the basic issue that remains that there is a wide divergence between PIP allocation and the expenditure. If you look at the same in percentage terms, I think hardly 1/4 of, although it has been on the increase 30 to 40%, and this again is a macro picture. If you really get into the details of each district, there's a complete divergence among each district as to how much of fund utilization takes place as such. This I do not know whether this is a slide which is very clear, but then the fact remains that what we have tried to do here is the 27 districts of Karnataka have been grouped into which are the districts which are below median income, okay, and above the state poverty. So going by the level of poverty and the income of the district as such, basically to understand what would be the healthcare needs of these particular districts as such. So the top block that you see is basically pertaining to the most backward or in terms of the most needy districts that require more intervention, and that all the more justifies the need for government intervention there. Okay, what you find is while we are very well doing in terms of the share that is indicated by the red line out there, in terms of share, definitely we are allocating more resources to these districts as compared to the bottom ones, which are the most advanced districts that we have in Karnataka state. That's very well justified. How this basically reflects the way we do the expenditure planning as such. So what out of the kitty that we have, we immediately say that this is the most backward district, so we are allocating more resources to this particular district. Is it really sufficient to do that? So if you really take a look at the bifurcation that we have among the districts, if you really look at the per capita allocation or per capita expenditure, that happens the most in some of the developed districts and not in the backward districts as such. So this is a serious issue for our planning, and we need to really look at whether we are doing the right kind of a thing by, doing this kind of a planning as such. So basically again here we are, this is a quick table where we are trying to present the breakup between the two selected districts. Gulbarga is the most backward, Chitradurga is also backward. These two have been chosen basically because both the districts get a sufficient amount of NRHM funding. So that was one of the preconditions that we thought we will look at this. What happens is, basically if you look at the rates of growth, okay, what is area of concern is Gulbarga, which is the most backward district, has a decline in absolute terms in under RCH and the disease control program, while we've had a substantial increase under NRHM additionalities. Basically here I would like to raise a point that a decline in expenditure is per se not a sort of an adverse thing. It is the most welcome. I think it was raised in the inaugural session today by, I think, where he was talking about research and ethics and things like that. But a decline in expenditure per se, if it is justified that we have achieved the required results,